This is my first video on the 740 project since I got the engine running. I am out using the car for errands. I'm at Lidl right now and I have groceries in the back. So I just wanted to give you all an update on all the things that I've done on the car in the last several weeks. I do want to point out that this has not been my primary thing that I've been working on. I've been getting my 940 sedan ready for sale. I've been doing a stereo and accessory gauges install on my 940 SE wagon. So I've just been kind of piecemealing things here and there. Basically what happened after I got the car running from the last video, I took it for a drive and I was really impressed. I was able to basically drive the car down the street, no issues. It tracked straight and the suspension was more or less intact. I do have kind of like a clunk noise in the left front that I'll have to investigate. And the turbo boosts and the transmission shifts well. A lot of things could be a little better. The transmission only really shifts its smoothest when you push the clutch pedal all the way. So for example, I'm probably going to bleed the hydraulics. I'm going to change the gear oil, and the overdrive works, the push button overdrive, which is super cool. It's very weird to actually use because I've never had anything like that before, but it does work. The air conditioning does work. It's not as cold as it could be, but it works. So that's a very positive sign. I have been driving the car. I've probably put about 200 miles on it, and it is noisy. I took some pictures underneath the car, and I see what I believe is an exhaust leak at the front of the catalytic converter. And so that's something I'm going to investigate further. I've also got a higher pitched electronic noise just all the time, just kind of like an electronic hum. I'm pretty sure that is the main fuel pump, just based on where it's coming from. And so I'll have to investigate that. Obviously, that could be the main pump on its way out. It could be the main pump operating normally. It could be the main pump struggling because the strainer could be clogged on the in-tank pump, or the in-tank pump might not even be working, causing the main pump to struggle. So there's all kinds of things that could cause that. We'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to it. So some of the things that I have obtained since I got in the car running, I scored a bunch of parts from a friend of mine who used to have a 740 that sadly met its demise in a wreck. It was totaled, and my friend kept a bunch of parts from the wrecked car, and that had a tan interior the same shade as this car. Unfortunately, I didn't get some of the hard to find stuff like the door panels or the window switch trim or anything like that, but I got a lot of things that are great to have, and I basically have put those in my own boxes for all my parts accumulation, and he labeled things in bags, so it's really great to get all that. I have another friend who had a spare set of the green fuel injectors that are stock on this car. He sold those to me. He also sold me an M46 transmission, so I have a spare transmission. And I sent the fuel injectors off to a company called Injector Rehab. I'm pretty sure they are based out of New Jersey. I've used them before to do motorcycle fuel injector cleaning. So the reason I did that is because I know that these fuel injectors, the rail was removed and just hanging out in the breeze for almost a year, and I don't know how clean they are. So I got these used ones from my friend. I sent them to Injector Rehab. I already got them back with the results of being cleaned and flow tested. They actually tested fine before they were clean, but now they're definitely clean. So that has been done as well. And I bought a bunch of spare ECUs just so I would have them on eBay. They were cheaper on eBay than they would have been if I had got them from my local parts yard. And they're not available at my local parts yard, so eBay was the best place to buy them. So my understanding is the LH 2.2 turbo ECUs tend to be more reliable, I believe, allegedly, than the newer LH 2.4 turbo ECUs. So I don't know if that's why they were only like $35 a piece, but you know, it is what it is. I also bought a spare instrument cluster because when I first got this running, the boost gauge wasn't working. It was just right on 12 o'clock. So I investigated further. Meanwhile, before I investigated, I bought this used cluster for like $60 or something, fully, you know, all the gauges are there. Well, then I looked closer and I found that the vacuum line coming off the intake manifold was like deteriorated and there were just like gashes in it. I may have a picture of that. And so I replaced that with vacuum line running all the way through the engine bay, through the hole in the firewall, and then checked all the connections and the line going up to the instrument cluster, and then there's the T line going into the boost cut valve or solenoid that's under the dash. So that's all good now, and my boost gauge works. So I'm good. I don't have to swap any parts from that cluster. So that was a big win. I'm very happy about that. And some of the other work that I did, I removed the adhesive that was on one of the doors. It was just some mystery adhesive that was like the thick stuff that you have on emblems. I have no idea what it was on, but I just did my usual thing. I learned this removing paint protectant from one of my other cars. Sometimes I use heat. In this case, I didn't use heat, but I did use a spray, the 3M specialty adhesive remover, and then I also used a plastic razor blade. I may have used WD-40. I'm not 100% sure which chemical I used, but I was able to get that off, and the paint looks great underneath. So that was really the only thing I was worried about with regards to the paint. So that's done. The bumper was disconnected. The front bumper was disconnected on the driver's side. So I investigated that and the reason why and got that seated correctly. And then I also was able to make sure the egg crate grill is kind of like sitting correctly. So the front end is a little cleaned up. I just kind of went through and did a quick clean of the interior. I vacuumed it, I wiped some things down. You probably can't see it, but I did take the little coin tray off because it was not lined up right. I just removed it because I wanted to realign it. So I need to get some of the specialty like thick 3M tape that you use for emblems and apply that to the bottom of that, and then I'll reinstall it. So just a lot of little things like that. I did kind of clean off the dash. I went through and wiped a bunch of things down. I'm actually behind a scooter right now, so I'll give him a wide berth. How do I like it? It's fun. It boosts strong. Based on the position of the boost gauge and what I've kind of learned from Dave Barton's website, it looks like it's turning about 7 pounds of boost. So that should be stock for this car. And I'm very pleased to see that. I don't know the condition of the seals on the turbo or anything like that. I do have like a persistent idle crash issue. So, you know, when you push in the clutch and you're coasting to a stop, the idle doesn't come down to like 900. It crashes to like 400 and stumbles and then comes back up to 900. So maybe the fuel injectors will clear that. I also am planning to clean out the idle air control valve and also the throttle body. So I've got a lot of things I'm planning to do. I haven't even touched yet. I'm planning to do the timing belt and the water pump and the front engine seals. I'm planning to do the distributor rebuild, which is good maintenance, but also can address, you know, oil leaks if you have any oil leaks in that area of the vehicle. So I've got that stuff planned. I have not installed the fuel injectors. I just gotten them back in the mail a couple weeks ago. And so obviously that's kind of on the docket. So that's pretty much the summary. I'm planning to do a full review of the car once I'm done with it, but before I even get to that point, I'm planning to do a lot more videos about all the little things. So as I've got taillights from the friend of mine who sold me the fuel injectors. I got taillights from him. They're used. They're in great shape. I traded some parts to him for those, so I didn't end up having to buy them new. And I will maybe do a video or a time lapse or something on installing those. I'm looking forward to getting those on because those are basically the ugliest part of the interior right now. I haven't washed the car yet, so I will wash it. It's not really a priority right now because I've just been focusing on making it safe and things like that. I did change the oil, so I probably only drove it like maybe 2 miles on the old oil. And then when I got it home, the first thing I did was I changed the oil. So all the mileage that I just mentioned, like roughly 200 miles, that's all been on fresh oil, new filter, and I'm really pleased. It's a good Survivor. It's got a really charming interior that I'm happy about. The manual sunroof works. The only thing electronic that doesn't appear to work is the heated seats. I'm not worried about that. I can chase that down later. I did also get from Turbo Bricks, a Turbo Bricks member, I got correct color door pockets. I am super happy that I was able to find those. I have not found a door panel for the driver's side, but I'm going to try and rescue the one that I have. I didn't want to take these door panels off until I had the right pockets. I don't know if you can see or if you recall, but the ones on here are black, so they really stick out like a sore thumb. The ones I got are beautiful. They're uncracked. So I'm going to take these door panels off. I'm going to put the right door pockets on. At that time, I'll do the interior door handle over here on the driver's door. I'm going to try and clean up and reinstall the houndstooth checkered panel that goes over here. And then I'll put the window switch trim on both these front doors. Now, I don't have the right color tan, but I do have the orangey colored tan, and I also have black. I actually pulled them from a parts yard vehicle very recently. So I don't know. I'll mock it up. I'll see what I think looks best, and then I'll decide which one I want to install. That's it. I thought that was it. I actually replaced both of the dome lights. So there's a dome light in the back by the hatch. That's probably called something other than the dome light. And then I have the dome light up here, which I pulled from a parts yard car last week. And this is actually the first time I've driven it since I swapped it, and it didn't fall down, so that's good. I know there's a lot of stuff in one video. I'm trying not to make these videos too long. That's all the updates I have for now. Hopefully the next several videos I do on this car will be actual walkthroughs, maybe do some time lapse where it makes sense, showing you fixing things. I think we're a ways away from like a paint correction. I'm pretty sure the next things that I'll be doing will be more like mechanical stuff that I want to do just because I want to be cautious, or mechanical stuff that needs to be done. So you can look forward to that stuff. I appreciate all the comments that I've seen on the channel and all the interaction. I'm really happy with this project. I do want to also give a shout out to Drifts and Lifts. If you haven't watched their YouTube channel, you should definitely check it out. They just recently got a red 740, the same generation as this one, with the manual M46 with the push-button overdrive, and theirs has half the miles of this one. It's a sedan, it's red exterior, and the black interior with the checkered seats. So very similar spec to this, but it just happens to be a sedan instead of a wagon. It's very clean. They've done a really nice job with it, and they bought it in non-running condition, and it sounds like it was a fried MAF from the airbox vent being stuck in the open position. That's the vent that connects to the heater tube. So that's going to come up later because I'm going to do a video on closing the vent or fixing it in the closed position on my airbox so that we don't have that issue, and then I'm going to remove that heater tube. So we got a bunch of stuff to do. I'm planning to film as much as I can. That's all I can think of right now. So again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll bring you some more Volvo 740 content soon. Cheers!